Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Till verse 7, we are in Amrutanubhava, chapter 6, devaluation of the word, Shabda Khandana. Until verse 74 in the 6th chapter, we saw the devaluation of the word ignorance. And now, here, Jnaneshwar Maharaj is going to devalue here when he says, so having denied ignorance, not this, neti, neti, this is not Atma. The second half of the statement, namely, then the Atma is revealed, is taken up. What is Atma? A lot of words are used to define Atma, such as Satchidananda Swarup, Nishkala, Kevala, Nitya, Nishkalanka, Nirvikalpa, etc. And these words are also devalued from the next 75th OV onwards. In today's meditation, the thought that came, someone asked the question, Swamiji, how do we disidentify from the body? And the thought that came, and it is a reflection of the scriptures, if you have taken the bitter pill, and the pill is, you cannot disidentify from the body and you cannot realize the self. Then what are we doing? If you can't disidentify from the body, see, many people get disenchanted or depressed or lose the plot when such statements, self-cancelling statements, you cannot disidentify from the body, you cannot realize the self. Or they may take a wrong meaning out of it. Jnaneshwar Maharaj here is telling you exactly that. Neti neti, body, you cannot remove that which does not exist. And you cannot know the reality because you are already that. And this requires a deep pondering. You have to sit with it and really see for yourself how we are lost in doing. Realizing is also doing only. Studying scriptures is also doing. Yoga pranayama is doing. Japa is doing. You cannot do anything. You do because you think you are someone. either the body or the breath or the mind or the intellect or the soul. So you want to do something in order to, and what you want to do? You want to drop the body, disidentify from the body, and you want to realize the self. So has Shankaracharya said something wrong? That you should have mumukshutvam? No, he has not. But understand the context in which he has said that. The scriptures say Vivek, Vairagya, Shatka Sampatti and Moksha. To whom? To a seeker. So, yes, it was required for you to be a seeker in the beginning. But as you come closer, as your mind comes closer to its own source, are you going to remain at Vivek, Vairagya, Shatka Sampatti and Mumukshutvam? You have to give up the Mumukshutvam there. When you reach the climax, when you are at the threshold, when you are at the doors of the Sanctum Sanctorium, you have to let go of the desire to know. On one hand, you have to let go of the desire to not be the body, and the other side, the desire to know the self. Till this desire to know the self is not given up, you will not be the one. And towards this Jnaneshwar Maharaj's guidance, his words, his experience of his realization, all these words are indicating this. So here he says, Ani Atma Hana Atmaya Dauni Bhola Mahimeya Yeila He Saviya Viruddhachi. And it will be contradiction in terms to say that the self-effulgent self was revealed to itself by a word, thus trying to gather glory for the word. Because you were thinking, therefore the self revealed. Sit quietly and contemplate on this. Does the self reveal because you are contemplating? Because you are thinking? Are you because you think that you are? To say that the word tries to attain greatness by revealing the Atma to itself, the self is self-revealed. How did you come to know? Self is self-revealed. Have you known it directly, or are you just going round and round and round in your head by way of thoughts? Self is self-revealed, self is self-effulgent, self is self-luminous, self is all-pervading, self is Purnamada, Purnamidam. All these are what? These are just words. If direct experience is not there, all these words come to a naught. They don't mean any damn thing. We must not remain in intellectual appreciation. Then that becomes a addiction. Only thinking. To say that the word tries to attain greatness by revealing the Atma to itself is a contradiction in terms, just as the word has no entry in the field of non-existent ignorance, so also it has no entry in the kingdom of the divine presence. The word cannot come to know its cause, the ignorance. Therefore, the word could not remove the ignorance. Word cannot reveal the truth. Why? Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. The truth is transcendental to the word. The truth is beyond. The truth is that from where the speech returns back with the mind. Same. Yato vacho nivartante aprape manasasa. Returns back to the mind. In the Atma Tattva, which is self existent, self effulgent, self revealed, words have no meaning. We get carried away when we hear self effulgent. Wow, self is self revealing. Self is self effulgent. Self is self luminous. Wow, what could it be? Don't think about it. Be it. Don't think about the self. Be the self. This statement is supported by some examples in the next 10 OVs. 10 examples he is giving us. One of them must click, or all of them must click. आपणया आपणासी लागले लग्न कवणे देसी की सूर्य अंगग्रासी ऐसे ग्रहण आहे. Can one marry oneself? Can the sun suffer an eclipse due to itself? Huh? Is there any place in the world where a person marries oneself? You need the other to be married to have a relationship with. Can you have a relationship with yourself? No. Think where the example is taking us. Can you have a relationship with yourself? If the answer is no, then how come you have created a relationship of a seeker and sought? How come you have created a relationship that I want to know my essential nature? This is a relationship. You are communicating to someone higher within yourself. Is there someone higher? Is there someone lower? To whom it is being told? Remember, who is telling it? Who is telling it? The one who is abiding in the self, who has got no doubts as to his nature. He is helping us that if we have come to this acme of contemplation, there, don't continue thinking, don't continue to have a relationship of seeker and sought. You are the seeker and the sought is the self. It's a relationship. And what is that relationship? The subject I is wanting to know the object I. It is not possible. See, we want to use the same rules of engagement in the world, where the world is separate to us, so we create a relationship, or we break a relationship, or we maintain a relationship, or we zero in on a relationship and eventually get married. So we want to zero in on the self to the exclusion of everything else and then merge. That merging is consummation, because we are again and again given the example of, as the sleep consumes you, so also the self will consume you. Wrong. Sleep is a phenomena in relativity. It's an empirical phenomena. Self is not an empirical phenomena. Self is not an object of a relativity. Self is transcendental to relativity. And therefore, you cannot create a relationship with that reality which you already are. No, but I am the ego self. You decided it. If you are still thinking you are the ego self, then belofy some more papad and then come back to the class. If these type of arguments are coming in your mind, doubts are coming in your mind, but I am the ego self, you only so many times you keep saying Gaunatma, Mithyatma, Mukhyatma. Then we cannot help. You have to find out yourself where you are going wrong in your assessment of yourself. Here Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying that you cannot have a relationship with yourself. You have to give up and that, what is that relation? That relationship of I am a seeker with reference to, in your mind, a thought called reality or the Atman. It's as if you have created a distance between yourself and the Atman, and you want to reach a distance sitting in the car of the body. Cover that distance. It's not possible. You have always been that Atman. You are that Atman. You will always be that Atman. And no amount of your traveling is ever going to take you to that Atman. This idea of travel, this idea of movement of consciousness from gross to subtle to pure, to causal or to pure, from tamas to rajas to sattva, this is only at the prakriti level. Oh, what about Ardhanarishwar? Prakriti is one with, that is also at Hiranyagarbha level. We are not talking about the totality. We are not talking about totality. We are not talking about the two coexisting. That is also phenomena. We are not talking about Ishvara Prakriti. That is also phenomena. Yes, it is eternal phenomena. That's a different matter. And if you are happy with that, be happy. But here Jnaneshwar Maharaj is talking about that Paramashiva, that one without a second. And that we are in essence imagining ourselves to be the individual. Is there any place in the world where a person marries oneself? Unless there are two, a marriage is not possible. Can the sun cause its own eclipse? You need something else to eclipse the sun. Sun cannot create darkness over itself. It's not possible. What is that darkness? Ignorance. I am ignorant. How lovingly we say, I am a ignorant. Swamiji, you are a great person. That Mahatma is a great person. You are knowledgeable. We are Buddhu. We are stupid. We are ignorant. Never even by mistake, in joke, say that about yourself. You are of the nature of the reality. And you are saying, I am ignorant. Find ways. As long as you are in the body, as long as you think you are someone, accept that you are the reality. Stop engaging, stop creating relationships. Stop trying to remove or achieve. All those words, detached, attached to detach, attached to the higher to detach from the lower. All that is wonderful in the beginning stages. We are doing Amrutanubhava. When you come to Amrutanubhava, when you come to Upanishads, these ideas of attached, detached, all that is kindergarten stuff. karma, bhakti, all kindergarten stuff, maybe primary school. Here all those ideas become null and void. You have to take the stand that you are the all-encompassing principle in essence. And think from that standpoint, just as Jnaneshwar Maharaj is thinking from being the infinite. Can infinite think? No. Can the totality think? Yes. Parabrahma, Paramatma, can he, is there anything else apart from him? No. Doesn't he take avatar as Ram, Krishna, Buddha, Vaman avatar, etc.? So he, by his own free will, well, we can't even use that word own free will. He's playing with himself. The Leela. He's playing with himself. We are not playing when we see the wife, husband, children, friends, enemies, wars, disease, pandemic. Do we consider all this as the self? I'm playing with myself. We are so serious. Oh my God, what will happen? Where is the world going? Anyway, let's not go in that direction. So here, Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying, can the sun cause its own eclipse by itself? Not possible. Can the self create ignorance? How can self, which is of the nature of all-knowingness, create knowledge and ignorance which are relative to each other, coexisting? Cannot. Can it cover itself? No. In the same way, the word cannot declare to the Atman, you are Atma. Atma is self-assertive, it is itself. So you yourself keep saying, I am that. He says, you are that. The scriptures say, you are that, and you say, I am that. If you are stuck in I am that, you are still far away from yourself. If you are in the intellect, if you are repeating that to yourself. Jnaneshwar Maharaj will also say, I am that. Nisargadatta Maharaj said, I am that. But that communication is not coming from wanting to be that. He is already, that is what he is already is getting expressed through the mind by way of thoughts. Realization, the seeking is for the mind. In the waking, in the dream, in the deep sleep, the mind is absolutely present. It is functioning. In the waking, the differences are separate from you. In the dream, the differences are within you. And in the deep sleep, the differences are in their unexpressed, unmanifest state. It is only in samadhi where the mind merges into its source. It is only in samadhi that the mind merges into its source. Their prakriti is not available. Potentiality is not there because it has merged back. Who is saying we in the relative are making that statement. So in the samadhi, there is no mind. Then who is there? Only you are. Then how do Mahatmas live? That merging of the phenomena. We told phenomena is also eternal. And what is the nature of phenomena? Manifestation and unmanifestation. When it unmanifests, meaning it merges back into the mind as a phenomena ceases to be, then self alone is. And that I am. I have always been. So the phenomena of the mind has ceased. And when the phenomena of the mind again, after some time, clicks into activity, a Mahatma is unaffected by the phenomena, is indifferent to the phenomena. He does not even think. Yes, because there is this equipment, the phenomena is taking place. Where is the phenomena taking place? At the equipment level. Body, breath, mind, intellect. But where is the Mahatma? Is he as the equipment, in the equipment, or is he in the consciousness as the consciousness? He is as the consciousness. And what is the consciousness disposition? What is the position of consciousness? That there is no phenomena. Just as sun's disposition is that there is no eclipse possible, there is no darkness possible. Similarly, the Mahatma, his disposition is...
Alert from calendar. Canberra Day, Australian Capital Territory.
So the Mahatma who is established in the self, his disposition is the variety does not exist. He doesn't say that because he doesn't need to. Because he is all that there is. So in this manner, the Atma is self-knowing, it's self-assertive, it's self-effulgent. And we will think of these words only as long as we want to know the Atma and be the Atma. You be in spite of the thoughts. You work towards the dissolution of the mind. Don't worry about the Atma. You work towards the dissolution of the mind. Not by alcohol, not by drugs, not by excitement, not by depression, not by suicide. These are all artificial ways of dissolving the mind. They are inconclusive. Gagana apanaya nighe, Sindhu apanaya righe, Ki tadahat volaghe, apanapeya. Can the space enter itself? Can the ocean enter itself? Can the palm catch itself? Second set of examples. Can the space enter itself? You destroy the house. Oh, the house space is merging into the total space. Is it possible? If it is possible, then realization also is possible. If space cannot enter itself and water cannot enter itself, then you cannot enter the essential self. You cannot realize. Why you can't realize? Because you're already the Atma, imagining not to be so. How? Were you ready for this? Are you ready for it? Then what about Bhagavad Gita? Out of your mind. What about Puranas? Out of your mind. What about gods? Out of your mind. They all come, the scriptures, the gods, the Jeev Jagat Ishwar, the various lokas, they are all part of the Prakriti, of the phenomena. And what is phenomena? That which is existing in its own absence. How long has it been existing in its own absence, this phenomena? Eternally. Eternally. अरे यार, हमें बख्श दो. Eternally this phenomena has been going on. So if the room space cannot enter the total space, the wave cannot enter the ocean, enter the total waters, meaning the waters cannot enter the waters. And the third example, the palm cannot catch the palm. How can the self know the self? How can the reality know the reality? This is the trap of the words. So what are these examples? They don't lead you to any conclusion. We are using words, space, entering into space, as if something is happening. Nothing is happening. In Eknath Maharaj's, Swamiji used to tell, I can't remember the whole thing, just the beginning of it I remember. Once upon a time, there was a man who was born to a woman who could not bear children. He lived in a village out of which one never existed and two were never existing. No, lived in a village which were sitting on, and these three villages were situated on the tip of the tip of the needle. And like this the story keeps going on. So we have used so many words to tell the story, and we are listening intently. A child was born to a mother who could not bear children, and he was living in a village, and he moved through three villages, out of which one was never there and two never existed. And we say, Acha, fir kya hua? Then what happened? The beginning itself is erroneous. But we are interested in the story. Same is our relative being, same is this ego, same is this Prakriti. It has got no meaning in that sense. Ignorance has got no meaning. But we use the word ignorance. We talk so beautifully. Ignorance expresses as desires and karma. Ignorance is the causal state, it's the self-forgetfulness, it's the non-apprehension which leads to misapprehension, which is projection, and the projection is the five elements, and then the trees came, then the plants came, then the beings came. We get lost in this creation, but what was the source of creation? Nothing. See. Can space enter space? Can ocean enter ocean? Can the palm hold itself? Where there is no two-ness, where there is nothing like knowledge and ignorance as two separate entities, the word has no meaning. Knowledge and ignorance is only at the mental level. From absolute point of view, there is nothing called knowledge and ignorance. Now, day and night is from the earth's point of view, ignorance. From the sun's point of view, there is no day and night. Day, knowledge; night, ignorance, darkness. Not possible. So who are you? Are you the one who is thinking that he is knowledgeable? Then you are going the wrong way. Then you are going the wrong way. Don't think in options. Don't allow the duality to influence who you are. Duality, words, experiences, separation, differences are at the level of mind. Let them be at the level of mind. Let them be at the level of mind. You did not create the mind. You did, then why you are thinking of destroying the mind? You did not create the phenomena. Why you are thinking of destroying the phenomena? You remain focused, you remain attentive. I can't even use that word because any word I use is not, and that's why we take the scriptures or the book texts like these, where the masters have done justice. They know how to use the words and yet not be caught up in the words. Continuing, Surya Suryat Vivale Fala Apanaya Fale Parimalu Parimale Ghe Pataye. Can the sun give light to sun, or the fruit give satisfaction of eating to the fruit itself? Can the fragrance smell itself? Just as the sun cannot give light to itself, the fruit cannot give satisfaction of eating the fruit to itself, and the fragrance cannot smell itself. In the same way, Atma being one without a second and self-effulgent, to say that the Atma knows itself because it was introduced to itself by the word is meaningless. This is a very big one. And I have said it many times. We are because we think we are, or thinking is we are in spite of the thinking. This you must come to conclude in yourself. Are you existing? Are you conscious? Because you think you are conscious, or you are conscious who is lending support to thinking or no thinking? Which one you accept yourself to be? Jnaneshwar Maharaj is very clear. He is the pure consciousness, he is the Paramashiva. And he allows the phenomena of thinking to take place in the light of the pure consciousness. Because without that phenomena, he could not write these words. Our case is different. We are enslaved by the phenomena, and through the phenomena, we want to come to know the pure consciousness, the reality, the Atman. Through the phenomena, you can never come to know the reality. But once you know you are the reality without thinking, then in one go, the phenomena reveals its secret. And what is the secret? The phenomena never was, never is, and never will be. That is its secret. In the same way, Atma being one without a second and self-effulgent, to say that the Atma knows itself because it was introduced to itself by the word. We came to know we are Atma because we came to the scriptures. So we have to keep thinking, so we have to keep using the words, so we have to keep maintaining the seeking, never coming to the direct experience. So is it we are Atma because scriptures tell us that we are Atma? We are conscious because the scriptures tell us the word conscious. Were you born with the word consciousness? Were you born with the word Atma? For 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, did you know even the word Atma or pure consciousness or reality in that sense? In this sense? So, we went to one satsang, there we heard it. So, because the scriptures are saying, because the teacher is saying, the words have been introduced to you that you are the Atma in essence. So, is the word more powerful than the being? Is the word able to invoke the being, or being is independent of the word? The pure consciousness is independent of the word. And as I am speaking, you be that. You be that. Next set of examples. Chara chara pani pazani karu ye laye ke kshani pari pani asi pani pazave kai. One may be able to quench the thirst of the whole world in a fraction of a moment, but can he quench the thirst of the water by water? Huh? Can he quench the thirst of the water by water? Can you make ignorance knowledgeable? One may be able to quench the thirst of the whole world in a fraction of a moment by one way or the other. How can the water quench its own thirst? The one who has thirst and the one who satiates the thirst are one and the same, the water. Similarly, the one who is seeking and the one who is sought are one and the same. That is you, the pure consciousness. imagining being the seeker, imagining that the sought is separate to him, and therefore creating a distance between him and his essence where there is no distance possible. This imaginary distance, this imagination of this imaginary distance, दर्शन दो भगवान मेरी आँखियाँ प्यासी रहे. Hey, darshan do Bhagwan. Is he far away from you or what? This is imaginary distance. And then crying and depression and all the emotional trauma. I'm not denying, does not mean you should stop, you should continue. Because in that crying, purification will happen. Purification of the mind will learn to give up. Mind will come to learn that this continuous insistence of seeking is not the solution. But it doesn't know any other way. Who? The mind. It has to become quiet of its own accord. So sometimes, cry that way. Darshan do Bhagwan. Where it becomes quiet. What remains in that quietness? That is self. See? The one who has thirst and the one who attains satiates the thirst are one and the same. The water. Just every day take one example like this and sit with yourself for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, whatever is convenient, comfortable. Don't overdo it, because then if you overdo it, you will keep thinking. No. Take this thought and just be quiet. Or be quiet right now, even as we are listening. साठी तीन शा दिवसा माझी ये खादा होय ऐसा जे सूर्यासी ची सूर्य जैसा डोळा दावी. Is it ever possible, even once in 365 days of a year, that sun has seen himself through his own eyes? Has the sun ever seen himself through his own eyes? Just one or two examples before I said, can the sun ever come to know its nature is heat and light? Can the sun know that he is giving the rays out and to maintain the life? As impossible that is, that much impossible it is for a seeker to come to know himself objectively. Objectively is the word here. You cannot come to know objectively. So then who are you? You are the subject itself. Then how do you know yourself? Like the sun knows himself. How does the sun know itself? Without knowing itself. See? And what are we doing? We are the I, and we want to know the I. How is this process unfolding itself? By way of thoughts. I want to know who I am. I know I am, but I want to know who I am. I am consciousness. Yes, I am consciousness. But I want to know consciousness as it is. You are already that. Yeah, that's what I want to know. And we get caught up in this cycle of thinking, reaching nowhere. Because there is nowhere to reach. If the mind is thinking like that, let it think. You stand apart. Just as the eyes cannot come to know, cannot see themselves, the mind cannot come to know itself. Exactly the same way. You cannot come to know yourself because you are already the self. Every day the sun comes up and shows us his face, but is it ever possible that at least on one day out of the 365 days of a year, the sun has seen his own face? Huh? That the sun is the seer and he is also the seen? Sun is the seer as well as the seen. Can you? I am the seeker and I am the sought. Seeker also I am, and what I am seeking? The I. Who am I? You are already I and you are seeking I. Bekoof. It cannot happen that the sun is the seer and he is also the seen. It cannot happen in the same way. Just as the sun can never be the seer as well as the seen, same way, from absolute standpoint, it can never happen that you are the seeker and you are the sought. But see, that is what we are doing. I am a seeker, I am a sattvic seeker, I am a rajasic seeker, I am a sannyasi seeker, I am a grahastha seeker. My seeking has come up to my knees. I think in one more year, by next birthday, it will come to my hips. Then my kundalini will get invoked. And then my seeking will go from the 7 chakras to the sahasrar. Distance, distance, distance. Traveling, traveling, traveling. All imagination. In the same way, in the Atma Tattva, which is one without a second, there can be no place for the word as a revealed, revealer or the revealed. In the Atma, there is no revealer, there is no revealed. Who is the revealer for us? Bhagwan. Bhagwan will reveal the reality to you. He also cannot come to know the reality. What? Bhagwan cannot come to know the reality? No, he cannot come to know the reality. Why? He is the reality. In essence. He knows that he is. Who is Shiva? Shiva is he who knows he is Paramashiva. And because he knows he is Paramashiva, he has always been Paramashiva. And the phenomena of Shiva Shakti, it is taking place. He plays the game. He allows the game to be played. The game is not. And what is this game? What is this Leela? This game is. There is no game going on. Yet there is an appearance of the game. There is no water, but yet the mirage waters are seen. The sky is not blue, yet the blueness of the sky is seen. Yet there is only waters, yet the waves are seen. There is only gold, yet the ornaments are seen. See? Knowing this is the one thing is being, and at the phenomenal level, knowing the proper place of Jeev, Jagat, Ishwar, knowing the relationship between all the three, that must be crystal clear. And that can only be crystal clear when you go beyond the phenomena, that you are being the one. Then the phenomena can be seen as the phenomena. Otherwise, we take the phenomena, the seeking, the meditation, everything to be very, very real. Should we stop? No, never. Continue the meditation in the light of this knowledge, in the light of what you have just heard. Now that you have heard it, it will not go out of your mind. It is there. You are listening also intently. It will be there. All you have to do is quieten the mind. And you have heard so many scriptures, so many Mahatmas, something will click. Another example is taken. Krutanta zari kopela tari trailokya he zalila vatsuni agi lavila agisi kai. The great fire of the final deluge may burn the three worlds out of rage. Can it ever burn the fire? Can the davanala, can the fire of contemplation, can the fire burn fire? It can burn everything else, but can it burn itself? And what is the self? We have only heard it. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam. Self is more effulgent, more bright than all the luminaries in the sky. Fire is one of them. Lightning is one of them. Stars are one of them. Sun and the moon are one of them. And how many suns? Oh, there are zillions of suns. How many stars? Oh, zillion to the power of zillion. All their lights put together cannot illuminate the self. No. Na tatra. Na begins with na tatra. There is no light comparable to the light of the self. All the lights become null and void, dysfunctional in front of it. Because from the sun's point of view, its light is so bright, its nature is of brightness. In that brightness, can you see any stars? No. Can you see the moon? No. Can you see the lightning? No. Can you see the fire? No. Can you see the lamp? No. Because the light of the sun is so bright. Now imagine the self is brighter than zillions of suns put together. So will there be the possibility from the self to know that there are these different type sources of light? No. Just like sun has got no idea. There is something called moon, there is something called lightning, there is something called fire. Same way. The great fire of the final deluge may burn. At the time of the final deluge, the god of destruction, the great destroyer, may burn all the three worlds out of rage. But can the fire ever burn itself? That is the fire? Not possible. The next three OVs constitute a homogeneous thought. Apanape apanaya va darpane veena dhatraya samoroho avaya thaki ahe. Can the creator see his own face without the aid of a mirror? Can the creator see his own face without the aid of a mirror? Can you see your own face without the aid of a mirror? Can you or can you not? And if there is no mirror, is there no, because you cannot see your face, does it mean there is no face? Because you cannot see the self, because there is no mirror of the mind, it has become zero, unmanifest, silence. Does it mean you are not there? Because there are no thoughts of I am in the mind. Does it mean you are not? Because I am thought is the reflection of the self in the mirror of the mind by way of thought. Because the thought is not there, because the reflection is not there, does it mean because the mind is not there, does it mean you are not there? And therefore this very potent exercise, expose your mind to silence, contemplate on space, empty space. Space is empty only all the time. What we mean is, in this empty space, if I'm looking into this room, oh, I'll see the lamp, I'll see the fan, I'll see the phone. No. Sit in front of a wall and keep looking. You can't see anything. Keep your eyes open. And when naturally they close, still there will be nothing behind the eyes. Maintain that disposition. Expose your mind to silence. Catch the silence between two breaths. Catch the silence between two thoughts. We want to catch thoughts, we want to catch memories, we want to catch relationships, we enjoy thinking about unwanted things. But that which is going to make us, in the words sane, that is exposing ourselves to silence, that we never do. And silence is not something that you can do. In silence, there's nothing to do. You just are, that's it. Even Brahmaji cannot see himself without the help of a mirror. Even though he is the great creator, he cannot stand before himself unless there is a mirror. दिठी ते रिघो पाहे रुचि ते चाखो सुये की चेतया चेतऊ ये हे नाही चकी. The eyes cannot see the eyes, the tongue cannot taste the tongue, or the awakened one cannot be woken up. Swamiji says, the eyes can see everything else other than themselves. That is where the seer and the seen are separate. If the eyes try to see themselves, they can only remain still. The eyes may be open, but there will be no vision which focuses outside. But that does not mean that the eyes do not have the vision. This visionless vision of the eyes is Paramatma. That which is eye of the eye, the ear of the ear, speech of the speech is Paramatma. We saw that in the Kenopanishad. Thus, the eyes cannot see themselves because the seer and seen difference is totally absent. Where there is one without a second, the word which functions only in duality has no meaning. Similarly, the tongue cannot taste itself, it can taste everything else but itself. And the one who is already awake cannot be woken up. Therefore, you can think of everything, but you cannot think of the self. You cannot experience, you may think, but it's only a thought. Thought is not equal to self. The tongue can taste everything but itself. You also, the mind also can think about everything. The moment mind thinks about the mind will vanish. Try. How can the mind think of the mind? Two ways. Either you think of the mind, what is that container in which, what is that space in which all the thoughts are coming and going? Think in this manner. Put your attention not on the thoughts but on the container of thoughts, the womb of thoughts. The mind will vanish. Or you think of the source of the mind. Where is the mind coming and where is the mind going? Where has the mind come from? Oh, I don't know where it comes and where it goes. How do you know there is mind? Only because there are thoughts. Now find out what is the source of thoughts. Where do they come from and where do they go? Mind will vanish. So in this manner, this visionless vision, this hearingless hearing, this seekingless seeking, this knowingless knowing, this experienceless experience, this is the language, and it is happening. There is no external experience, an objective experience of yourself, but you know you are, but you are not having an experience, and yet you are saying I am. How is this possible? Just be. It is possible. When all duality ends, you are still there. It is duality where language is, you are beyond the language, you are beyond the word. Chandana chandana lavi, rangu rang pana ravi, moti pan moti levavi, aise kaiche. Is it ever possible for sandalwood to be smeared with sandalwood, or the color to taint the color, or the pearls to become ornaments for themselves? Neither can sandal paste be smeared on sandalwood. No, no, I'm putting sandalwood on sandalwood because sandalwood had become hot. Can sandalwood, its nature of sandalwood is to be cool. Cool it down. Nor the color be applied to itself, nor the pearls beautify themselves. As ridiculous as these three options that are given to us are, that ridiculous it is to come to know yourself by way of thoughts, by way of words. सोने पण सोने कसी दीपपण दीप प्रकाशी रसपणा बुड़ी दे रसी हे के जोड़े. Can the gold brighten the gold, the lamp give light to the lamp, and the taste and the taste the taste? Another set of ridiculous examples. Ridiculous means no conclusion. It is not possible only. आपुलिये मुकुटी समर्था चंद्र वै सविलास सर्वथा परी चंद्र चंद्राचिये माथा वाहू ये काई. Lord Shiva has held the moon on his locks. Can the moon adorn itself by being on her own head? Can the moon sit on its own head? No. Lord Shiva has kept the crescent moon on his locks and they glorify each other. But can the moon glorify and adorn itself by sitting on her own head? It is not possible. After all these examples, beginning from OE 76 till 86:10, the conclusion is arrived at. And what is the conclusion? Taisa Atma Raju Java Jnana Matrachi Bhariva Ata Jnane Jnanasi Kheva Kaise Dije. In the same way, the Atman is pure knowledge. How can the knowledge know the knowledge? Atma is pure knowledge. And you are that. How can you know yourself? Oh, but they said, Uddharet Atmana Atmanam Atmanam Avasades. Hear yourself, by yourself, in yourself, for yourself. Has Gita told lies or what? In 6th chapter, who was being addressed? Was Atma being addressed? Or the seeker was being addressed? Seeker was being addressed. In this text, the caliber of the seeker is very, very high. There it is. He has just finished his karma yoga and he has come to dhyan yoga. He has to still cover the journey of bhakti yoga, of expansion of his consciousness and then going beyond the total consciousness to come to be the kshetrajna and then go beyond the three gunas and so on and so forth. See? So don't bring that example in what context it was given, Uddharet Atmana Atmanam, and apply it in Amrutanubhava here. There in Bhagavad Gita, a scheme is given from karma to dhyan to bhakti to gyan and to beyond gyan. Here there is no scheme. In Upanishads there is no scheme. You are that. Story over. Accept it or take a hike. Upanishads don't care anything. They care a hoot. That's it. Jnaneshwar is not asking for validation from us. Jnaneshwar Maharaj is not asking for validation from his mind. He is addressing his mind. Think in this manner. Or we should say, Jnaneshwar Maharaj's mind, when his teacher asked him, write down your experience, his mind is purified, his mind is single pointed, his mind has sorted it all out. It is basking in the light of consciousness. And now that mind of Jnaneshwar Maharaj is trying to put down what is his experience. At the relative level, he is trying to explain the infinite. And if you see every chapter, it's leading to a non-conclusion. Every chapter is non-conclusion. Because self is self-existing, self is self-knowing. So, what are these words? These words are deliberations by the mind of Jnaneshwar Maharaj to put across in words that which is beyond the words. An impossibility. So don't be too proud that you have learned Bhagavad Gita. Don't be too proud that you have understood what was told in the satsang. There is nothing to understand. Don't leave it only at the intellectual level. Don't make what we are teaching here, Jnaneshwar Maharaj is telling here, don't make it into a concept. All the words may be concepts, the ideas may be concepts, but what it is indicating is not a concept. Word itself is a concept. The word Atma is a concept. But what it is indicating, it's not a concept. As long as it is in your mind or in your lips, it's a concept. As long as you are thinking of Atma as something separate from you, it is a concept. But is Atma a concept? No. See? In the same way, the Atma is pure knowledge. How can the knowledge know the knowledge? There is a unique expression of Jnaneshwar Maharaj to call Paramatma as solid space, Chidghana. He uses the word Chidghana, solid space. We are not talking about empty space. Empty space is Maya. Solid space is conscious space. Space is that which gives existence to different shapes because of its emptiness. Gold is solid space for all the gold ornaments. So also Paramatma is solid space in the sense that it has the potentiality to manifest in many, many forms. In that sense, space is that which supports all forms, all directions. It supports air, fire, water, earth, plants, animals, planets, moons of the planets, everything. Space supports the whole universe. And where has it all come out from? It has come out of space only. Or has the air come from somewhere else and then been introduced into space? Fire come from somewhere outside and then been introduced into the space? No. From the space alone, the air came. From the air and space, the fire came. From the fire, air and space, the water came. From all these four, the earth came. From all these five together, the plants came. From the plants, the nourishment came. From the nourishment, life came. See? So same way, gold is solid, space is solid, space is that which accommodates. So here, gold space. What is gold space? Gold space is that which supports all the ornaments. Mud space is that which supports all the pots. Similarly, Paramatma is solid space in the sense that it has the potentiality to manifest in many forms. Just as your mind has the potentiality to manifest into many forms in the dream. Your mind has, it is one mind, it has never become two. It has never become two. But the entire world of variety, past, present, future, inside, outside, direction, sun, moon, universe, stars, rain, birth, death, thoughts of every person, egos of every person, life in every person, animals, the inertness, consciousness, joy, bliss in the dream, everything was expression of the mind alone, projection of the mind alone. And the entire dream was made out of the material called the mind. So mind, is the mind always expressing like that? No. The potential was there in the mind, therefore it manifested as the dream. If the potential in the mind to express as the dream was not there, it would not have been possible. It would not have been possible. So did the mind become, did the mind lose itself because it manifested into the variety of dream? No. When the dream, it manifested and then again it unmanifested, mind continues. What's the next game I should play? I think I should wake up now. I should play the game of waking. Then what should I do now? Okay, let's try going to, they say, let me unmanifest myself now. I'm tired of manifesting at the subtle level and the gross level. Let me take a break. It goes to sleep, empty itself completely. Then again it manifests. It's playing. Mind remains the same. But the dreams keep changing. The waking keeps changing. Mind remains the same. Same way, you always remain the same. The pure consciousness always remains the same. So also Paramatman is solid space in the same sense that it has the potentiality to manifest in many forms. So if you take one step back, what is Paramatman? Paramatma is that pure consciousness which has the inherent potentiality to express as many individual consciousnesses. Paramatma consciousness, pure consciousness equal to Paramatma is that Paramatma, is that consciousness which has inherent within itself the potentiality. Because there was potentiality, that's why the universe came about, no? Well, the universe came about because of the space, okay. But the life, Space cannot create consciousness. So where did the consciousness come from? Because the potentiality was there. Therefore, this Paramatma expressed as the waking consciousness, dream consciousness, sleep consciousness, not in one person, in all the people, in all different forms. Brahma is, see, functionality of Brahma consciousness is different from functionality of Vishnu consciousness, is different from functionality of Shiva consciousness. You understand? Consciousness is same, that one Paramashiva alone is expressing, because the potentiality is there. But is he affected by the expression of these Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh consciousness, or all the individual consciousnesses? Is he affected? No, he is not. He is ठीक है, सब time pass है यार. So Adi Shankaracharya in Sadachar describes Paramatma as Satchidananda Kanda, that in which all the potentiality is inherent to manifest as multiplicity, yet never suffers the bondage of becoming many. Just as the ocean has the potentiality to manifest as innumerable, infinite number of waves, but the ocean never suffers because of the waves. The ocean never suffers the bondage, the attachment, the loss or of the waves, or doesn't get excited because new waves are coming up. He ever remains cool as cucumber. See? If you want to look at it from a different angle, the waves are only on the surface of the ocean. Ocean is at the deepest, it is 14 kilometers deep. And how deep are the waves? Maybe 1 meter, 2 meter, 3 meter maximum. And once you go into the waters, can you experience the waves? No. There is no wave there. You go even 5 meters, 10 meters, no waves. So it's only on the periphery, only on the surface. The shape of the ornament is only on the surface. Inside, all gold. See? All gold. And if another angle of approach is compared to the manifestation, if space is supporting the total universe, how big is the total gross universe, which includes all the galaxies, compared to the total space? How much area is it occupying in the total space? The modern science hasn't found it yet. But our Shastras, they say the total area occupied by the manifest creation in the total space is only a tiny speck. And that is represented in us, in our scriptures, as it's a tiny speck on the right toenail of the Lord Vishnu. Meaning it's insignificant. Space is so huge. So what is that one speck? Only on the periphery, just tiny. Compared to the total waters, how much area are the waves occupying? Minuscule. Compared to the total gold, how much area is the ornament occupying? Minuscule. Exactly the same way. Exactly the same way. Compared to the mind, how much area is the dream occupying? Minuscule. The moment you get up, zero. So here, it is really foolish that the whole creation is a manifestation of the reality that we are, and we are so creative that by our own creation we become miserable. So if ocean is not destroyed by its own creation, our mind should not be destroyed by its own creation. Then what to do? Remain equanimous, remain sakshi, let the creation come and go. Remain in poise. We'll look at this verse in our next class. Remain in poise. Remain undisturbed by a husband. Remain undisturbed by a wife. Remain undisturbed by your body. Remain undisturbed by hunger and thirst. Remain undisturbed by praise and insult. Remain undisturbed by health or disease, comfort or discomfort. These are the words which were told in Bhagavad Gita. Oh yes, now you think from this point of view, it's exactly the same thing. We want to be practical. This is practical. Be the ultimate. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnahat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Sit quietly for a moment.